On today's video, I'm going to be covering everything you need to know about Season 2 of the Mortal Kombat Pro Competition, which finally the developers released the details today as far as how much money is going to be in it, how do you qualify, how many players qualify. So as far as how much money is in the Pro Tour itself, $255,000 is the entirety of the pot spread amongst all the events, online, offline, and Final Combat combined. A big misconception is that huge lump sum of money is up for grabs by one person. That is not the case. We're going to get into the details, but 255K is going to be definitely thinned out and very carefully distributed. They separate tournaments by categories, being demigod and combatant. For a demigod event, $10,000 is the total prize pool for any tournament labeled a demigod event. As far as combatant events, $4,000 is the total prize pool payout for anything that's labeled combatant. If you just care about money, your best bets is going to a demigod event over a combatant event because there's just simply more money. That doesn't mean you don't want to go to a combatant event because it might conveniently be closer to you. It might be easier. You know, they might happen at later times of the year where everybody's already qualified and they don't really care to go to a combatant event. You can be strategic about it. I will say I'm a little disappointed in like first place being $5,000 for every demigod event, because last year Ed Boon tweeted out that how the community feel, the audience feel if they crowdfunded for Season 2. It doesn't appear that there's any crowdfunding in it because the payouts are pretty much just the same as they were last year. But let's tap back into demigod and combatant events and which events are actually a combatant or a demigod event. The Pro Competition in Mexico, and that is a combatant event, and that is in Mexico City, February 22nd through the 23rd. You got Viennality, which is a demigod event in Vienna, Austria, March 1st to the 2nd. Texas Showdown, combatant event, Houston, Texas, March 28th through the 30th. GamesCon in Sao Paulo, Brazil, which is a demigod event, April 30th through May 4th. Combo Breaker in Chicago, Illinois, demigod event, May 23rd through 25th. Brussels Challenge combatant in Belgium. They don't even have a date for that event. You got Blink Respawn in the DR, combatant event, July 28th through the 20th. In the summertime, you got CEO, combatant event, surprisingly, in Orlando, Florida, June 13th through the 15th. You got Evo and Versus Fighting demigod event and combatant event in Birmingham, United Kingdom for Versus Fighting. There's not even a date for Versus Fighting. So a couple things that were different this year than last year is there's 10 total offline events in Season 1. There was only 4 more offline events. That was one of the biggest complaints from amongst everybody, that they didn't have enough offline events, and it was mainly online based in Season 1. There is a catch though. You know, you can't just show up to these events and all 10 of those offline events and have pretty consistent showings, 7th place finishes, 5th place finishes, decent finishes, and just kind of qualify off straight consistency. No. They only count the top 2 performances out of your combatant events and out of your demigod events. So if you go to every single event, whether it being combatant or demigod, they're only going to take your top 2. If you want to maximize your chances of qualifying through points, obviously going to everything is going to give you a high chance of like trying to do better than the event before. But really, they're only going to take your top 2. A big change too from Season 1 to 2 is the online regional qualifiers and regional finals do not award points in Season 1. If you were to do good and say you got first place finish in your online regional, it would actually count towards your offline global point leaderboard, which was very, very stupid. They were trying to reward players from different regions that can't make it to these offline events, whether it be just distance, money, anything. But it really just was horrible formatting because it benefited people who competed in weaker regions. But this year, they actually separate the two. So the online qualifiers and the offline events, completely separate. You can't do good in your online regional qualifiers and get points towards your actual overall leaderboard score. As far as the rules, PlayStation 5 is the tournament standard console for the Pro Tour. So if you got an Xbox, you play on PC, ditch it. You got PS5 is the tournament standard. You might as well practice on what's tournament standard. Rounds are first to 2 rounds. Tournaments are first to 3, aka best of 5. And as far as the online tournaments, Wi-Fi is banned, Ethernet cables only. So if you don't got no Ethernet cable, you cannot compete in the online regional qualifiers. As far as how they go about breaking down how you achieve points from these demigod and combatant events, you can see that combatant events are pretty much half the points. If you can only sacrifice appearing offline so many times, it's more worth your money to go to a demigod event because the prize pools are higher and the points are higher as well. But it depends, man, because combatant events, like I said, sometimes they got some of these demigod events overseas. So, you know, if you're overseas, some of these demigod events are in NA. Really, you should just be going to anything that's near you. Like me, I plan on only going to everything in the USA because it's closer to me. The prize pools aren't big enough for me to warrant going overseas, even though I would love to play the competition over there. But with me having a full-time job, I have to prioritize the bigger bag, which is just going to work, because going overseas for a $10,000 or a $4,000 total prize pool, only paying out 8 players, is just not a W money move. You probably don't want to be in it for the money. If I'm being real with you, you know, I would say punch your ticket to Final Combat, and that's where the big money is. None of these demigod and combatant events are anything crazy as far as money goes. As far as the payout for Final Combat, the total prize pool for Final Combat is $200,000, starting at first place being $70,000, second being 36, third being 24K, and so on and so forth. This is the exact same payout that it was in season 1, so there's no real big difference between season 1 and season 2 as far as the actual world finals payouts. 20 players qualify for Final Combat, 8 of those being through points, 1 of those being from winning Evo, 2 of those being from the NA's online regional finale, 4 from the Intercontinental regional finale, another 4 from Liga Latina regional finale, and 1 player from the LCQ, the last chance qualifier. In the event, a player qualifies as a winner of Evo or the online regional qualifier through the global points leaderboard. Their global point leaderboard invite will be extended to the next player. So you can actually be not in the top 8 in points and qualify if somebody in the top 8 in points so happens to qualify through something else. As far as how old do you have to be, this is pretty important for certain players, because not every player is, you know, of age. You know, there are a lot of killers out there that are kind of like at that 16, 17, 18 range, and I was one of those at one point. In the United States or Canada, 17 years old is how old you got to be to compete in the pro competition. But if you are outside of the US or Canada, anywhere else, you have to be 18. So if we were to summarize like the main key points, $255,000 is the total prize pool. We got 10 offline events instead of 4 from last year. We have combatant events and demigod events. Your performances in your online regional qualifiers does not influence your actual score or your points in your offline global point leaderboard. That's a big difference, because that was happening a lot in season 1 because the rules were just simply different. But I hope you guys better understand, for the viewers who are just now watching this video and finding out that, oh damn, season 2 got announced, or what are the rules and all that. You can beat anybody and compete in this pro tour. You don't actually have to be a pro. If you got the bread, you can register on star.gg for any of those events, those 10 events that I mentioned, and just show up and try your best, man. Best of luck to you guys in season 2 of the pro competition. Wish me luck, because I will be competing on a few of those events myself. I will try my best. But see you guys at hopefully some of these offline events if you guys end up going to them.